Hey there, friends, fellow chatterboxes. I feel like the best way to share is just jump into my daily world and connect it to the major themes of this channel. Just to jump ahead, I'm looking at what the chatterboxes are saying about quadray coordinates. So you can look those up in Wikipedia. Um, the overall discussion we're having, I would say, in our clique is when you're introducing people to this new language that's just one of many. You could say it's okay. Let me go to Medium. I wasn't even going to do it this way, but let's do it. Let's go to Medium, my most recent sort of kind of a logo. Like I've got a company logo that I've been sharing for a long time. It's those two intersecting tetrahedra, but I want to go to this latest published story called Talking Points. And you see this steam versus path. They're not versus, they're crisscrossing on the A. And this is kind of a parochial way of talking. It's like I'm not expecting the whole world or anything like that to even care about this, but it's called Bridging the CP Snow Chasm. Again, that's kind of esoteric. And that's where I spell out kind of more about how we have these multiple meanings for the concept of dimension. Dimension as in 3D, 2D, 4D, you know what people say in math a lot. You may not have been exposed to this, but there's this thing called the XYZ coordinate system. And then there's what I call an API to XYZ, which helps us work in sphere packing world more. And so I've got that computerized and I use it to make computer graphics. And I share my process and my workflow partly by sharing the tools. And in that regard, I'm just another geek. In other words, I'm on the conference circuit to the extent that I can be. Shout out to Diet Dr. Pepper, by the way. This is not a paid advertisement. I've talked about this before on my channel. I will actively promote like commercials for things that never ask me to do that because we do that all the time, don't we? It's our freedom to do that. We often think of how it's our freedom to be negative about stuff, but sometimes it's more useful and even harder to be positive about stuff. But the people who do movie reviews like Siskel and Ebert and like that, I like that they're up to being. They say what they like about movies as much as what they don't. So they're not just negative all the time. And I think that's an interesting observation. I don't want to be negative all the time either, right? I have political views, and they're in my blogs. Check out a game called, not a game, a blog called worldgame.blogspot.com. That's in reference to a Bucky Fuller meme, World Game. And, oh, another cool thing we had was a talk with Medard from World Game telling us about a little bit about its history and inspiration and talking to the Trim Tab Book Club. So shout out to friends on Trim Tab. Shout out to friends on Math for Wisdom. So my geek world, I'm just like today it's Sunday, right? It's a weekend for me. And I'm between two classes teaching them and I haven't been doing a lot of YouTubes because I've been in this like teaching tunnel. As I mentioned, people who want to follow me in close when I go off doing a channel, YouTube's a lot. You can still follow me other venues, right? You can see from this channel, I point to like listservs and stuff. So if you're interested in getting in touch or seeing what I'm doing these days is upgrading my Python. So I'm finally using 3.11. And right away I jump into playing with the case statement because I haven't been, right? I've been stuck in 3.9 for a long time. So today is upgrade day, and Jupyter Lab lets me go to a dark theme too, which is cool. And the weekend before this, I was at a wedding reception for my cousin, Lee. He lives in Bellingham now, so I finally got to give my car a workout because I've been pretty short leash and the car's been kind of rotting in the driveway. This is a picture of it. Um, So I got to take it for some hundreds of miles with the dog in the back seat, right? So that was good. So I'm enjoying doing the stuff I do around family and all that, and I'm enjoying this discussion we're having about Chat GPT and AI and stuff. So we're going through what does it say about quadrays. It's the first sentence is good. Quadray coordinates are a coordinate system that uses four axes instead of the traditional three axes of Cartesian coordinates. But even there, you're going to think, wow, that's not quite right, is it? It's more like we count individual rays. You know, when you go through high school geometry or earlier, they talk about a ray, R A Y, like a ray from the sun or something, and it has a specific starting point, and then it goes in some direction, and they say infinity. They're really big on infinity in the early years. We really get a heavy dose of infinity. And so we have these rays going off at infinity, and they could be two of them tip to tail, going off 180-degree opposites of each other, kind of like a Newton action reaction kind of picture. Two rays heading in completely opposite directions, not slightly off, but 180 exactly. Very important. Um, we might call one of them left and the other one right, but that doesn't really adhere to the objects. In other words, that's a point of view for us. A number line, you could go around and look at it from the other side, and what used to go off to the right now goes off to the left. And seeing positive numbers go off to the left is disoriented for a lot of us because we always do it the same way. Positive numbers to the right, but we don't want to say right, we want to say positive because that's like gluing a plus sign right there onto the spoke, the ray. So in XYZ, we have 6 rays coming out from what we call the origin to center. So that's like pick any point and go out 6 directions, right? Up and down, and then north, south, east, west. It's kind of like you're on the earth, and you've got these 4 directions, your compass directions, and then you've got straight up and straight down. So that's X, Y, Z, we call those. Those are the 3 axes. But an axis is pairs of rays opposed to each other going off in opposite directions. And with quadrays, what we're doing is we're doing just the rays, spokes, so not axes, not pairs. These aren't pairs, these are individual rays, and we only have 4 of them instead of 6. So when you go to school, it's going to be 6 rays organized in those compass up down directions. We have 4 rays, and they're symmetrically, they all have the same angle with each other, but it's not 90 degrees, right? But it's what we call a caltrop in terms of what it looks like. It's all over the place, talk about it a lot. So we want to know what Chat GPT has to say about it, and it says stuff like developed by mathematician William Clifford and blah blah blah, and then HSM Coxeter comes in. And because I know this literature, I know this corpus really well, I see where the AI bot is getting this. Like it's a funhouse mirror, right? It's like it's a lot of phony baloney, but it's certainly from the right namespace. So ballpark stuff thrown back at me. And we do that with the concentric hierarchy as well. And then more refinement has been done. In other words, once you want GPT to really pay attention to your topic, you can feed it whole blog posts and stuff, and it gradually, its fluency is likely to improve the more you educate it. You could put it that way. So I'm guessing that even though the concentric hierarchy of polyhedrons, even though this is not very well thought out at the moment, it's the trains of thought running through here are kind of askew. I think we'll get better alignment with synergetics as time goes on because more of the buzz in the restaurant, so to speak. I think of the chat machine as like hanging out in a busy restaurant for a million years and just listening to people chatter away about every possible topic quite a bit of wine is consumed and beer and so on. So people talk about everything, right? It's a long lunch, maybe in Wall Street, depends where, right? Different corpus. Anyway, you come out of that a chatterbox, ready to sort of sound like a restaurant, busy restaurant on anything. And I guess we need to help it tighten up. So we're on the same team here. We're all on the same team. It's not threatening. AI is not threatening. It's a mirror. It's echoing back. It's a mirror. We like mirrors. They help us see ourselves. Okay, I guess that was all over the map, but that was intentional. I wanted you to just get a slice through what I'm up to. Just to summarize, Quadrays and the Chatterbox, upgrading Python, testing the car, and learning stuff like regular expressions is partly what I'm teaching, right? So I thought I'd check out some other people who are better at regular expressions than I am, and this was a good one too on using Jupyter notebooks and stuff to blend pictures in an AI way. So this this um, this AI stuff is not all about just lexical; it's also graphical. And I haven't talked about that as much, but a lot of people are. So, like this video, the best Jupyter Lab extension. It's not really about AI, but she's an AI person, so it's about a thing that you can add to Jupyter to make it more shareable, make the pipelines more obvious. Jupyter is kind of what we're teaching, what I'm teaching, and I'm in between two classes of that this weekend. So back to work. Do another YouTube in a while. See you then.